Welcome everybody to Red Suit Interviews, and we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. SilokHawk. How are you today?
It's a big introduction you got there. I'm
Yeah, well, it's the general. I guess it's the bit of it all. Now, today we're
well,
just
thank you.
yeah, it's well, you deserve it. Yeah, so today we're just doing audio one. So we're gonna have nice little graphics here to represent us. But anyway, how you been? How's it all been going, especially with the
It,
last couple of things?
it's been good actually. It's been surprisingly good. The Tanks video did very well, and so I, yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it. Just it's been good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess for those who don't know you, so who are you and what do you do?
My name is Jordan Kutz. I produce video content on YouTube, mostly game reviews, and yeah, it's that's pretty much all there is to it. I do a bit of art on the side, but that's kind of like a minor thing.
Yes, so especially like with games being like, yeah, obviously games is like the massive center of your content. How did you initially get into doing your videos and what sort of stemmed into doing that?
Um, it was a well, it's been a hobby until very recently, actually. It was always just, I don't know, I just, I've always been very interested in like game critique and game design and like analyzing it. So I just wanted my voice to be heard. So I just started off with a few smaller videos, and then my channel just it picked up momentum over time, and especially now it's going well. So so I apologize. This is probably like backroom talk right now, but I'm sorry. This is probably the worst interview of all time.
No, it's okay, man. It's all good. We just keep it's very casual, no big issues anyway. And I'm very curious, especially with you've talked initially just at the start just about having that sort of artistic side. So what was sort of the reason for you having like that cartoon avatar as sort of your representation in
um,
the video?
I uh, I think my biggest influence of why I do my produce my content the way I do it with the animations, all that is probably Ego Raptor actually with his sequelitis. I had a that huge influence to me, and I yeah, I don't know, that always resonated with me, and I've always been a sort of artistic person in general, so I kind of wanted to, I guess, convey that through my videos, and I thought it'd be fun to have an animated alias. So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no problem, man. Yeah, and I'm so. What would have been sort of like the major influences, especially in creating your channel and even your art style with how you create your content or the character, etc. Like, what have been like your major influences?
Well, E-Raptor, as mentioned, but JonTron, which I've been constantly compared to, or at least not so much anymore, but back in the day, everyone was always calling me a JonTron ripoff, as are most game reviewers. But JonTron,
It's not,
E-Raptor, sorry, what?
yeah, go on. I was just about to say it's either JonTron or AVGN.
Yeah, I was actually going to say AGN was a huge influence, but I think one of my biggest influences, like very early screw attacks, that's like early
Yeah,
internet stuff. I don't know if they do stuff anymore, but early screw attack is like huge influence to, I guess, the style of my content and the way I write my jokes and all that.
yeah. No, I believe Screwattack's actually with Rooster Teeth now. I think they joined back in
Oh, are
2015.
they?
Yeah, they're now. But oh no, actually, Screwattack got disbanded. I think last year, but they
Ooh,
went
that's
under.
sad.
Yeah, they went under the Rooster Teeth umbrella, and I think Rooster Teeth pretty much absorbed everyone from it.
Oh wow, what about I know some of them disbanded. I don't think Craig is part of Screw Attack anymore.
No, but he. I'm. Oh, I could be wrong. I know he was. I know he was definitely part of the Rooster Teeth branding for a while. He's. I'm pretty sure he's still part of it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, early Screw Attack stuff, huge influence on my style, and it hasn't changed too much over the years. Or at least I don't think. I don't know. You can
No,
tell me if you've watched my stuff.
no, you've definitely had like obviously like influences and changes and different choices that sort of go along the way. But there is like a common theme, obviously, with your channel. Um,
hmm
and I guess what initially got you into making videos? What was your first step?
Um, I've been on YouTube since I think 2006, 2008. I think the first
Wow.
thing I ever uploaded was some like pivot animation I did. If you know what pivot is, I don't know if that's something even used anymore. It's old like stick man animator. Anyways, and so I was doing pivots for a while on a separate channel, and then I started kind of slowly, gradually going towards like gaming content.
Hmm.
And then I started doing reviews, and that's when I made the SilokHawk channel, just to be like, all right, this is my channel for reviews. And then that channel ended up taking off, and that's where I am now.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna get this. So, how is the correct pronunciation for your channel?
SilokHawk. It's
No, it is.
not
It's
a real
Silok.
word. Yeah, I get a lot of. I've heard a SilokHawk, SilokHawk. I've heard a lot of things. Some people don't even see the K; they say SilokHawk. Yeah,
SilokHawk.
it's not a real word. But it's SilokHawk.
No, that doesn't.
It's just it was back when I got my PS3. It was like enter username. I'm like I don't freaking know. So I was gonna be SilokHawk because I thought it sounded cool, but then that was taken. I'm like I'll just put a K because that sounds cool. And here we are today.
So everyone, so truly, with like the people who say SilokHawk are actually just the purists with it, because they're going for the first iteration of the name.
Yeah, they don't even know it.
They don't even know it. They're just
Yeah.
true purists. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I also hear SilokHawk a lot as a joke.
Okay. Yeah. I get generally my username's Ryan Osterus, but I've gotten Ryan Osiris. My friend calls me Ryan Hypotenuse. Just general things like that. But no, I get the pain with the names.
It's a hard life.
It is. It's a hard life, you know. There's famine, there's war, but you know the mispronunciation of names. That's the top there. That's the thing.
The real first world problems going on here.
Yeah, and with your videos, so what's your first step in like how do you initially get your ideas and inspirations to create a video?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't usually it'll just sporadically I'll think of something. I'm like I should do a video on that, and then I'll write it down. I have a list of like 100 video ideas that I probably will never do, but I don't really think too hard about it. If it's something I'm passionate about, I'm like I don't know. I want to produce content about it. I want to like share my opinion with the world. And that's usually what ends up becoming my more popular videos, like the Tanks video. Nobody was talking about Tanks, but I was like, Tanks was a fun game. I just want to talk about that because I like it a lot, and I think it's at like 1 million views right now.
Yeah,
it's been 3 weeks.
It's just under. Yeah, that's an amazing video. Like even just getting into that.
Thank you.
Yeah, like man, I when you went through that channel, it was just like going back through like different parts when I was younger, and I was like, wow, yeah, that's right, that game. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's how most of my videos start. I'm like, it's just be whether it be like hatred, that's a strong word, but hatred or like positivity. If I'm passionate about something, I want to talk about it. And videos just seems like the best outlet for me personally. So yeah, that's how the SilokHawk channel started.
Yeah, and even getting more into that Tanks video, I guess how's it changed your view on your YouTube now? Like obviously you've had like recent hardships, especially with your car crash that we'll get into later. How has that has it actually changed sort of how you sort of see the future of your channel?
Yeah, absolutely. So until very recently, YouTube's always been my hobby. I've always been bouncing between jobs, especially at college. I didn't have much. I still don't have much money, but YouTube's always just been a side thing that I do because I'm passionate about it. I never really made too much money up until the Tanks video, but in the back of my head, I've always been like, I want to have YouTube as a career, but it's just never been plausible because like rents, car bills, your phone bills, college loans. I'm still paying, so all that stuff it just wasn't plausible. And YouTube's just really you never know how much you're gonna make. So I always had a job, whether I liked it or not. I always had a job, but especially with the Tanks video doing so well, this is like the first time where I'm like, I honestly think I can turn this into a career, which it's really exciting. And I'm really glad so many people enjoy the Tanks video and my content in general. So I hope I hope it keeps doing well going moving forward.
Yeah, no, it was like, yeah, like I said, like I remember back when I was younger, like whatever year they came out, as I'm there with my dad playing tanks. I'm pretty sure he was more into it than me at some points, but it was a very good video. Yeah, and I really enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I very much enjoy because that was the first video I saw of your channel, and just going through it, and I was just like, wow, this is. I really enjoy your channel, and that's like one of the big reasons I wanted to talk to you today, is because I
Well,
really
thank you.
enjoyed your content. Even like and even with the latest video put up with like the Sonic, and now you're sort of looking to even change up your content just a little bit, like putting out more shorter videos. Has that sort of also been influenced by what's happened with the Tanks video?
Well, yeah, that's a bit of a complication on that. So that was the original plan. That's why the Sonic video was so short. But that was me working on the Sonic strip. That was way before I uploaded the Tanks video. I was not expecting Tanks video to do so well, and so I was thinking if I'm going to build up my viewership, I just need to do constant uploads. If I'm going to do constant uploads, they got to be shorter. But with the Tanks video, I'm starting to think like I actually can take my time, do the longer content I want to do. So my next video is going to be spoilers. It's going to be I'm going to be looking at every single new Super Mario Bros. Game and like reviewing each one, saying which one's the best after all of it, and that's probably going to be a longer video, and that's the kind of content I prefer doing. I don't know. I just like really getting analytical about the content or the games that I take a look at, and I really enjoy doing the shorter stuff. But when you're trying to frame it in I guess, a shorter attention span sort of thing, you can't really get out all your thoughts, and it's good. And that kind of stuff is good for again, building up viewership. But at this point, I don't think it's necessary, and I think more people prefer the more long form videos anyway. So moving forward, maybe you'll see shorter stuff, but that was kind of just like a plan B. But no, sorry, I'm like I'm just
Go off.
rambling.
No, man, go off.
No, yeah.
Definitely. No, I'm look. If it feels like it's going off in different weird directions, I can pull it in. Don't worry. But you're doing like, yeah, no, this is great. Don't have to be worried about that. Okay. We got time to kill anyway, so it's all good.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, but that's I basically answered the question.
no, yeah, that's good. And I'm very curious, especially with how do you sort of what's your processes with making your videos? Because I know a lot of people sometimes just like, you know what, I got an idea, I'm just gonna speak into a microphone and then edit around it, or I'll meticulously plan out a script and stuff like that.
Oh, that is not me at all. I am. If this interview is, I guess interview, if this conversation is enough to prove anything, is that I'm not, I'm not great at this on the spot.
Yeah,
I like when
you're
I
doing fine.
do my
Though.
videos. Oh, thank you. When I do my videos, I really like to plan it out and script things. And when sometimes I go like a little bit off script, but for the most part, I like to really think out what I'm going to say, and I'll say it out loud. I'm like, does that sound correct, or is that like what I actually believe? But as far as the process is concerned, think of the video idea, obviously. Play the game. I'll always write down notes of like, I want to talk about this, or I want to do this. Not every single thing I write down will always translate to the script, but a lot of it will. And when I do a script, I'll just try to like really flesh it out, make sure everything sounds natural, and basically be like, if I have a list of things I wrote notes on, like kind of group it up so the script flows better. And then once I record my audio, I equalize it, and then I edit the video. And the animation stuff usually comes afterwards, after all the video editing and the audio stuff.
Yeah, and with the animation, obviously you have like a passion for your art, etc. And with the latest like Sonic video, there wasn't much. I could be wrong. From what I remember, there wasn't like your character wasn't like a major part of that video.
No, he's not in most of the videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Tanks video sort of, but.
Oh yeah, and it's just, I'm very curious. It's like, yeah, it's just more going into, how do you try and sort of merge those two things together, and how do you sort of, try and connect those two things?
The audio and the animation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I am. When I'm writing a script, I have an emotion in mind. I mean, again, I mean, when you write anything, you know how you feel when you wrote it, despite how it's actually conveyed when you speak. And I think the animation is a really good like doorway to that, so people can really see how I feel,
Hmm.
like when I'm, whenever I'm writing. And so I'll just listen to the audio, read the script, and I'll animate a face and like body pose depending on like how I honestly felt when I was writing the script and when I was saying that. And as far as the animation is concerned, it's a yeah, it's I have a lot of the reason. Okay, I'm like
That's all right, man.
really going on a tangent
That's all
here.
right. That's all good. You can keep going.
So I have a bunch of like presets. When I first made this alias, I made a whole bunch of different poses, like head angles, a bunch of different assets, and so the poses themselves don't take too long. It's usually actually just the face that takes so long. It's just to really get it to match the emotion being conveyed when I speak.
Mm.
As far as the poses, though, that's usually the quickest part because I have so many assets. I have like so many hand poses, so many facial positions, angles, my body standing, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do have that
Sorry, I didn't
sort.
mean to get all technical.
No, that's right. No, you have that sort of preset. Those characters, especially preset, because I talked to Nader's Lame. If you don't know him, he's another animator who does like storytelling.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. So he was telling me, and he's going like, every video I draw completely new characters for every single one. So I was actually very curious. Like, how often, especially when it comes to that sort of stuff with animation, do you come to a video and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna have to draw 500 to 600 new things, or because that's like what Nader's Lame comes to.
It's sort of how it does. It's so if there is a pose I don't have, obviously I need to draw a new one.
Mm.
In each still I have is made up of a bunch of different assets I've made, so it's always like a little bit new.
Yep.
And but yeah, there'll be times like the tanks video, for example. There was the part where Kermit broke for the wall, and I didn't have any like poses from me laying down, so I had to basically just draw that from scratch. And just stuff like that, but it's usually not required. My last, because I updated the alias in my tanks video, but before that I had, I think, upwards to 200 different stills.
Yep.
And so it was very rare when I had to draw a new one because I was like, oh, this fits with this still I've already drawn. And basically, the more videos I do, the less animating I have to do. As far as this new alias that was in my Sonic video and my tanks video, I have 60 stills so far, so there's still a bit of animating that's going to go on. But for the most part, again, I don't have to. It's not like it's not like actual animation where I'm like drawing each keyframe of like movement. It's just stills to convey an emotion.
Yeah. And what programs do you use for your content?
For animation, or am I just content
Oh,
general?
both. Just go all in.
Flash, Photoshop, at Audacity, Fruity Loops, Vegas Pro, After Effects. I think that's it. Am I missing one? Paint, if that counts. Sometimes I'll just use Paint to sketch something out. If I'm like, I kind of want to look like this, but I just want to do it fast.
Yeah, I'm curious because I use Premiere quite a lot. So as you like you say, you use like After Effects and Photoshop. So why the Sony Vegas instead of Premiere?
It's just what I've been using it since I don't know, I want to say like 2011.
Fair enough.
So I'm just so used to it. I probably should switch over to Premiere. It's because Vegas crashes like all the time. It's a terrible program. It's just what I'm used to, though.
Yeah,
Premiere,
no,
I hear a lot better stuff, but the times I have used it, it seemed a bit longer to make the content in like the style I edit it. And I'm sure I could get used to it if I just sat down and been like, just give myself a day, and be like, all right, I'm gonna get used to Premiere. But up until now, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to do that since it's been a hobby for so long. But who knows? Now that I have more time, maybe I'll switch to Premiere. But to answer your question, though, I use Vegas just because I'm just comfortable with the program.
No, I get what you mean.
Despite how terrible it is.
No, I get what you mean. Like, I should be using a lot of stuff I do. Sometimes I'll be like, I probably should use this in After Effects. But then I sort of look at Premiere and then I go, I think I can do it here because I'm too scared to try and do After Effects too much. and I'll like
Yeah,
do the most
all the
convoluted
yeah,
stuff just
all
to.
the really big stuff I do is in After Effects. Actually, another program I use, Maya. That was
Oh wow, yeah.
I made the 3D room and like the track and just the whole scene of Kermit breaking through the wall. That was all done in Maya. And
Wow.
then I did like fix the lighting in After Effects. But basically, anytime there was like a really big scene with like a lot of
Yeah.
motion going on, it's done in After Effects.
Yeah, I haven't used
And then
Maya.
I bring it over to Vegas.
I haven't used Maya in a very long time. That's a pretty complex. Uh,
Yeah, it's I I when I was in college, they were teaching me. I didn't learn much from my
yeah.
short story on my college. I went to I was studying animation for 2 years, and then I had to drop out because I didn't have enough money to finish. But I only took 2 or 3 classes on Maya, and they didn't really teach me anything. But that's how I knew about the program.
Yeah.
And when I did the tanks video, I basically had to learn from scratch. And yeah, I can confirm it is it is complicated.
Hmm. It's yeah, especially like I remember after playing Maya, or no, after using Maya, a lot of the games that I tried playing afterwards, trying to like rotate and stuff like that, I just like found
Uh-huh.
gaming so much harder after using Maya because it just felt like I don't know. It's like when you're
Yeah,
trying to like
totally.
maneuver space and stuff like that. Just change that.
Yeah, it's studio standard though, so
Yeah.
that's why they taught it to me in college, and that's why I'm using it now. Because if I ever do want to actually pursue 3D animation as a career, which is something I wanted to do when I was very young, that dream's kind of gone away. But if it's something I want to go back to, then Maya is the program I need to learn and be comfortable with because like Pixar uses that, I think DreamWorks uses that.
Yeah.
So it again, studio standard.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because it's like, especially like these programs such as like Maya or even Blender to a certain extent, like these are like industry standards that are very accessible to like most people, which is like amazing.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, man, maybe I should get back into the old animation game, but nonetheless,
Have you used animation?
I used to. I have done a couple of nice fun boy animations back in school with the Maya.
Flash or what do you use?
No, I used Maya. I couldn't. I found it easier doing 3D than 2D. I think it's just because you could just. I didn't really care about drawing. I like modeling more.
Yes. That is something I always stand by. People always say that to be a good animator, you need to be a good artist. That is not true at all because understanding animation is not the same as understanding art. Because understanding animation is understanding weight, character movements, expression,
Mm.
exaggeration, something that stuff that you don't need to understand art to do. And I'm a terrible artist. Like I mean, I've gotten better over the years, but I am a much better animator than I am an artist, and that's why I wanted to pursue 3D animation because if you get a rig, you don't have to draw that every frame. You just pose it, and you know whatever looks good in motion. That's all it comes down to: understanding motion and animation, not
Mm.
being good at drawing.
No,
Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent.
no,
I
no. That's I
apologize if
think
I'm going on tangents. Let me know.
no. Go nuts. Go off, man. Go off. Um, and I guess sort of. I guess we can touch into it now, especially when you're talking about sort of coming into like this new space and new sort of perspective on your channel. I guess this all sort of. I guess you could say probably stemmed from your car crash. So I guess
Yes.
can you give a brief rundown for people who don't know what happened?
So, back at my last job I had before I got fired, which I'll talk about in a sec. I had to. It was a long drive. It was about a 45-minute drive there and back. And on my way back from work one of the days, there was a really dangerous intersection that I took that I had to take to get home. It was so dangerous. Like even it was so dangerous that when I was in the hospital, like 5 days after my crash, another crash happened, and I cannot even tell you how many crashes I've heard happen in the intersection. It's ridiculous that they haven't done anything about it. Anyways, so the intersection is dangerous because you have to make a left turn like in front of an oncoming lane. And so what
Hmm.
happened is I saw this cop coming, and he slows down, and I thought he was slowing down because he saw me. So I started to make the turn, and he speeds up, and then we made a collision. And
Oh.
yeah, that was I get when it happened. I didn't even. Have you ever had a moment? I don't know if maybe it's just pain. But have you ever a moment where something like so ridiculous happened that you couldn't even like believe it was real? You're like, no, this is not happening. This is like a dream.
I
Have you ever had anything like that?
look. I don't think I could have ever had anything quite to that extent.
Oh. But
Annoying.
that's what happened to me though. Like I was just in my car. When I woke up, I was in my car. My like foot was like almost backwards, and
Mm.
I was like, "This is like not happening." I couldn't even believe it. It was terrible. Anyways, so I broke my leg, um, and then my intestines got like cut up or something, and they had a it was some complicated process. Apparently, there was like a bunch of fluid leaking out my intestines, so they had to like cut my stomach open and do all that
Mm.
crap.
Yeah,
But I'm
just
fine now. Anyways, it
content
was really
warning anyone who finds it squeamish to hear this. Just content warning.
yeah. It was a really terrible experience. But
Oh,
anyways,
Jesus,
because of
yeah.
that, um, when I got back to work, my obviously my work output wasn't as strong as it was before that because like I had a hard time walking around, and a lot of my job required me to move around the fab a lot. For anyone curious, I worked at a semiconductor. I uh, I built light guns for um. Anyways,
Oh,
so
cool.
I worked at a fab, and I was you're when you work on a fab, you're expected to move around from station to station,
Yeah.
get all the parts you need to construct all things you need to do. And I just couldn't do that as fast. And
Oh.
everyone that I worked with, they assumed that was why I got fired. Um, because the reason they gave me, I'm not gonna get into it, but it was really petty. And when I told everyone, they're like, "Are you joking?" I'm like, "No, that's what they told me." Everyone's like, "I think they were looking at you. They saw you as a loss, and they probably had to think of something, because of that." And that sounds
Mm.
as shitty as it is. That's life. That's
Yeah, I
that
know what
stuff
you
just
mean.
happens.
That is, I guess, and look, you can't control these things, especially with the car crash.
Yeah,
And
it was.
like, but I'm really happy that you're sort of seeing this sort of new light, especially with the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because
Yeah.
after the car crash and after getting fired from my job, I had a bit of money saved up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just focus on YouTube for a bit. If it doesn't go anywhere, whatever, I'll just get a job like I always do, so I can continue paying rent. But I did the tanks video; it did really well. I don't know how things are gonna go from here, but if they keep doing as well as the tanks video, then yeah, I think I can really turn this into my career, and I won't have to can bounce between shitty jobs ever again.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think, yeah. W- I'm just jumping back because I've got a few more questions about the car crash stuff, but just
Uh-huh.
jumping back even to that Wheat Tanks video. Why do you think that video stood out to a lot of people? Like, what about that specifically?
Um, I just think, well, the same. I think I should be asking you this question because, like, I mean, you said you found me through that video.
Yeah.
If I had to make a guess, I think it's just a lot of people had the Wii, and a lot of people had Wii Play, and so to them, it's like really nostalgic to them. And so to see someone do a whole coverage on that, which I'm not gonna say I'm the first one who did it, but I don't think anyone else did it. At least not that I know of. And so it was kind of like it definitely stood out from other videos about I guess Wii tanks if there are
Mm.
any. And again, I think it's a part of a lot of people's childhood. The Wii is it's definitely to me it seems like a brand new console, but to a lot of people, again, it was what the game console they grew up with. So
Yeah.
it is very nostalgic to them. So they see a video about Wii tanks, and they immediately want to check it out because that resonates with them. But I don't know it if I would be curious to know why you clicked on the video actually.
Oh, no, definitely. I think I was just sort of curious because I was just like, this is something I haven't heard in a very long time. It's like that
Yeah,
Obi-Wan meme, just oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
yeah,
But
and if the comments or anything go off, I think it's like again, I think it's what a lot of people how a lot of people felt about it. That's why I think it did well
hmm. And
because
with
they're like, oh, is this game I used to play?
yeah, and with that especially, and I guess sort of like even looking at how a lot of people sort of came to that enjoyment of that video, especially from the connection with it, especially from when they enjoyed it when they played it younger.
Mhm.
Has this sort of, especially with you looking to do this more full timey, I guess is the more correct way of saying it. Um, do you think people's reactions to that and how the people enjoyed that video will like shape how you do content in the future? Are you looking maybe to do more sort of
Yeah,
like
absolutely. I want to after seeing how well that video did, I want to again, my next video is going to be New Super Mario Bros. And so I want to produce more content I guess around the era of the Wii, since that's what seems to resonate with like the most people.
Mm.
So yeah, I definitely would say it shaped it will be shaping my content in the future.
Mm. I'll give you a suggestion of a game to check out if it exists. It's called Billy the
What's up,
Wizard. It is
Billy
possible.
the
It is
Wizard?
possibly the worst game ever made, and it's on the Wii. If you really want to
I'll,
check out a game that is god awful and on the Wii,
I'll have to,
check.
I'll have to look into it. I've never even heard of that.
I got that a long time ago, and I can assure you. Look, I've got hundreds, not hundreds, probably close to like 50 Wii games that were complete trash. So that
You and I both think.
oh man, oh. So I think if you touched on a few of them, I think no, that's a real. I'm happy you're sort of looking into that sort of direction.
Yeah, just make a video, just terrible Wii games.
Terrible Wii games.
Just do a whole video about that.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Next one, Wii Sports Resort, sword fighting.
I got a lot of requests for that actually. Not the
Oh, I didn't. I just threw that one out. I felt like.
But I got a lot of requests for Wii Play Plus and Wii Sports Resorts. Those two games. After I did the Tinks video, those are probably the two things I heard the most people tell me to play.
Yeah, no, I can say that. I feel. Oh man, just even thinking about it, I'm like, wow, that was a lot.
I've never played Resort actually. I own it. I've never touched it though.
Look, Wii Sports Resort is like better.
That's what I've heard. That's from what I've seen. It looks really good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I mean, I like the. It's a bit of. I guess you could say it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. I like the original Wii Sports.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if I say it's a good game, but it's a fun game.
It's just like a really just like solid experience. It's not like the most complicated thing or anything like that, but like you can go into really anything there and have a good time.
Yeah, it was I would say the perfect pack-in title for the Wii. I can't think of a single other Wii game that would have done better. I guess besides Resort, but that came out afterwards.
Billy the Wizard, of course. That's the pack-in title everyone needs. It was such a shit game. Anyway, back to I guess the car crash. Regarding that, and you said before, just that sort of shock of like reality with it. I was very curious about this. Were you very like, because you said like your foot turned around backwards. Like, were you very cognitive of the pain in that moment? Because I know sometimes people sort of just go through this like days of shock and they don't really understand or like comprehend what's going on. So
no, I definitely felt the pain. It was probably the worst pain I felt in my life, unless I'm forgetting something. I've broken a few bones back in my day, but this was definitely up there. I was fully aware, especially once I woke up in my car. I was fully aware of what was going on, and it was, oh my god, I was like bawling my eyes out, which made me even more upset. If anyone who's seen the video I did covering this, I was just in my car, just in total pain, and I was like, this cop is asking me all these questions. I'm like, can I just please get an ambulance? He's like, we'll get you one soon. He said to ask you a few more questions. I'm like, I can't. Is this seriously happening right now? Are you like, ask me in the hospital? Like, are you serious? Like, just get me an ambulance already, for fuck's sake. It was really bad.
Yeah, and because even in that video talking about especially and about like how like the police and how that was dealing with you. Has there been any updates? Because you're even talking about like how you're worried about any sort of like legal repercussions.
Getting sued.
Yeah.
Anything happened? I haven't heard anything yet, so I don't think it's going to happen. And I think the reason I don't know if I mentioned this in the video. I think the reason why it's not going to happen is because I don't have anything to my name. Like if the cops were to sue me over this, because they would have liability, they would be able to, because since I was the one making the turn, I'm technically liable. But yeah, if they were to sue me, it'd probably cost them more money than they would get out of it, because again, I don't have a lot of money to my name, and if they were to sue me, I'd have to file for bankruptcy anyway. But luckily that hasn't happened. It's kind of shitty looking at it, just be like, oh yeah, they're not going to sue me because I don't have any money. But I guess it is a silver lining.
Yeah, like that is like that's sort of like a you can't sue me, don't have any money, dab dab dab, you know. That's like
It's like, ha ha ha. Wait a second.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess even now, like moving on to the YouTube, and like I'm really happy that you sort of are finding this sort of new hope
Thank
and
you.
silver lining with this YouTube. Was there any sort of difficulties, especially coming back into the YouTube after this crash? Was there any sort of worries? Because you had like you had a
Uh,
gap from
I've had a
uploads.
few.
I know you had a few,
That's
but
why I
like, but
wasn't.
this
That's why I wasn't worried about it.
you
There's
want
been,
okay.
and my fans will definitely tell you. There's been at least 3 times now where I've just been like gone for like a year, and everyone's like, "Where the hell did you go?" And they'll like upload a few videos, and they'll like leave for another year. I'm like a mini JonTron. If you can compare him to that.
I know a lot of anime, even like the Ned is lame. Like he's had like gaps quite recently. Like he's had a 5 month gap, but he's just worried about like the next upload, and that's what the thing that's holding him back. So I guess with you, like what sort of when you get into like the sort of the gap, sort of I don't know what's the right word to call it, like the
I
YouTube
think I know what
gap.
you're asking. Like, how
Yeah.
do you like? Are you worried about like how
Yeah,
you're
like
gonna
what's your
make
thoughts
a
going
comeback?
through it, and like how do you usually try, and like what's your like what spurs you to get back into it?
Um, every time, I guess besides the Wii tanks, every time that I've been gone and been like motivated to make another video, it's always because I'm upset over something. Because the first time I was gone for a year, and then Pokemon Go came out during that time where I was gone, and I'm a huge Pokemon fan. And when I got the game, I was like, this game is nothing like Pokemon, and it's like huge missed potential. And I wanted to talk about that, so I came back, made a video about it. And the same thing happened with it's not a really video I'm too proud of now. The same thing happened with Smash Bros. I was gone for a long time, and then Ultimate got revealed, and there's a huge debate over whether or not it was a port or not, and I had a very strong opinion on it, and so I made a video about that. But yeah, every single time it's just been because like I I just like cannot believe what people are saying regarding certain opinions. I just want to throw my own hat into the ring. So I'm like, well, I gotta make a video about it. If anyone's gonna listen, I gotta make a video about it. As
Mm.
far as the Wheat Tanks thing, though, it was just, I mean, the only thing, the only reason I was gone for a while anyway is because I got a job and then the crash.
Yeah.
And the Wheat Tanks thing wasn't something. With the other stuff, I was always like worried. I'm like, all right, this has got to be a damn good video because it's my comeback video. So really got to make it for like strong impression. If the Wheat Tanks video, I don't know, maybe this is why it did so well. I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just like, all right, I have this like Tanks video halftime. I'll just finish, just get this out of the way so I can work on the next project. That's honestly how I felt about it. And then it really resonated with a bunch of people. I'm like, well, I guess I did something right.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. And you were talking even just touching on before about uh the Smash Bros video. Not very. You said you weren't not that proud of it. So what in your sort of how you sort of see your channel and how you see your videos? So what sort of helps? How do you feel proud over a video? Like what does a video have to be to sort of make you go like, I'm really happy with this, or what makes you feel?
It has to. I have to like for one spend a lot of time on it, and two has to have like good reception. If I spend a lot of time on it and it gets good reception, I'm like, all right, I think I did a good job. But if it doesn't get good reception, I'm like, probably could have worked harder on that. The only exception of that would probably be my Pokemon countdown videos, where I've had people spam me for years over those because people got really upset over those videos. And when me and my friends made those videos, we weren't really taking the subject matter seriously. We were just kind of messing around the whole time.
Yeah,
It wasn't a video that was meant to be taken seriously, I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah,
And so many people they didn't like it because they took it seriously. And so in that instance, I'm like, oh, fucking whatever. So I think it's a good video. But as far as like my Tetris video, for example, or the Smash video, which didn't get that great a reception, in those videos I was being like completely serious and I was
yeah.
like really giving it my all. And since I didn't do well, I was like, well, I guess I messed up. Because in those instances, it's not biased. People are critiquing it how it should be critiqued. They know my intent, and they're critiquing it on that basis. With the Pokemon stuff, it just seems like it's going over a lot of people's heads. I know there's a lot of people who don't like it just because they don't like the video, but from everything I hear, because I've been spammed over years. I have some guy who joined my Discord just to tell me how much he hated me over my Pokemon video. But I used to have a DeviantArt like a long time ago, and this kid was so mad I think he sent over 300 messages. And like DeviantArt is like just a crappy website, so they don't
Mm.
have like they don't filter out that kind of stuff. And so I just had my whole page was like all these guys just spamming my DeviantArt. I'm like, well, this DeviantArt sucks anyway, so I just deleted it. Anyways, I've been dealing with that kind of crap for years, and it always comes back to people being really upset about what I said about Pokemon. Yeah, I know. It's you have people like on YouTube, they're all controversial because they slept with someone's wife or they dad from a dead body. But for me, I said stuff about Pokemon and people that's
Man.
probably the most controversial thing I've done on my channel.
Look, communities are fascinating. Like you can go and you can be like, you know what, racism's fine and stuff like that, and people will defend you. But as soon as you say one thing about Pokemon, I swear to God, the world is going to end.
It just shows. Maybe I'm just being an asshole here, but it kind of just shows you like how like selfish people are, because there's so many terrible things. It was Logan Paul, right? Who died from a dead body. Yeah. And the fact that like he did that's terrible. He went to another country and Denver. That's like so disrespectful. Yeah. And he like still like people. He didn't like. I think like impacted his channel for like a week, but he still makes content and people still watch him.
Yeah.
But then there's like other people. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, where like they'll get offended over something they said about like a movie or a game, and that's what they decide is worthy of cancel culture, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I think it's ridiculous. I don't want to speak for anyone, but
no, I get what you mean. And I guess sort of touching on sort of like online communities. How have you found your online communities, especially in the people who surround you?
Oh, super supportive. I'm really. The people who watch my content make me want to be a better person. Like they're like, especially on my Discord, they're like everyone's so supportive and so nice to each other. Like as soon as like anyone joins my Discord, whoever, no matter who it is, everyone's just like, "Oh, welcome to the server." And it just, I don't know, it makes me really happy. Yeah, no, for real. So my viewers have been always super supportive, and I could not have asked for like a better like viewer base. It makes me so happy that such like genuine people like my stuff.
And when did you first realize that you were a larger creator? Like what was that like pin drop moment? You're like, oh wow, I actually have like a community around me now.
What was the moment? Sorry, say that again?
Yeah, when was the moment you sort of realized you were a larger creator with people around you, sort of with your content?
I don't know if I'd consider myself a large creator, but I guess
you're over the 100,000 mark, aren't you? So that's
it's just recently, which is super exciting. I still haven't heard from YouTube. You get a plaque. If I recall, I haven't heard anything about that.
Apparently, it takes a while. So.
Oh, but I guess as far as when I started noticing that I had a lot of people coming back watching my content, how'd that feel?
Yeah, when was that moment? When was that like moment you're like, oh crap, like there's people who are like here for me, like for my content.
It made me happy, but also made me worried. Whenever I have a huge amount of people coming to see my content, it's even happened with the Tanks video. When I saw how many people were subscribing because of that Tanks video, I was like so like scared. I was like, oh god, because it's like pressure, You like have so many people saying like, oh, I'm following you now. It's like, oh god, I don't know what I did to make you happy, but I got to keep this up now. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So it's a lot of pressure, but it is really it's cool to know that so many people care about what you have to say.
That's and I guess how have you sort of grappled with that sort of like online fame? Like, do you like enjoy it? Is it, and also how is it sort of like, has there been any impact on your sort of I guess regular life, especially like you don't have like your face around like too much?
There's been I want to say like 6 or 7 videos of mine where I showed my face. I did it more on my older stuff.
Yeah.
But ever since I did the alias, it just works better. I don't like standing in front of a camera. I haven't ever been like recognized outside of YouTube. I guess unless we're counting like social media, I don't think I count so. But like in person, I've never been recognized.
Okay.
So it hasn't really impacted me too much. I try not to. I try to keep it humble. When people are like, really praising my stuff, whether it be on Discord, it makes me feel really nervous, honestly. I don't know. A lot of the time I just don't feel like I deserve the praise.
Wow.
Because it's hard to deal with. You got all these people saying like, "Oh, you're so good," and all this. I'm like, I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's just thank you, but I mean, everyone's got an opinion. I don't think anything I do makes me any better than anyone else because I have a YouTube channel or like X amount of views. like, like it does mean a lot to me when a video does well, and when people say I did a good job. That does like, I mean, obviously it makes anyone feel good, but I don't let it get to my head.
No, that's really
because I do think anyone could do the stuff that I do.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone could do what the sort of stuff you do, man. You're a talented guy. You got creativity. You got perspective on a lot of different things. And like, if I tried to sit down and try and do like half the stuff that you could do in a video, I'd give
you
up.
could do it.
I'd give up pretty easily, my man. Trust me.
I think if enough perseverance, anyone can do anything.
That's true.
And that sounds like a very like fucking PBS like thing to say.
If anyone has enough,
that's honestly what I believe.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. And look, it takes like the videos that you do. Like I sit back and I always just sort of go like, wow, that's like, I'm always impressed, especially with creators like yourself who can like incorporate even doing like animation graphics and stuff like that. And even like with that Tanks video, I just like having that Kermit's like scene at the end. I was just sort of like just take it back. I'm like, holy crap! I didn't expect it to like go.
Oh
this
yeah,
far.
I had a lot of people mad at me.
Mad? Why would they mad?
That was the only part of the video where the volume peaked, and people were really upset. It was just fair. I should have been more wary of that. But as far as other stuff, I had a lot of people getting mad at me for the other parts where I quote unquote yelled in the video. But all that is actually at a lower decibel like than all parts where I'm talking. I always like. I try not to. I don't let anything peak except for that one part. But I just one guy, just a short little. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I'll just keep going. The trigger for me is just like anyone like audio is just like I don't know what it is. Just when people like get too like finicky over audio, that's like
yes,
yeah.
No, like sometimes it's valid, but I had this one guy leave a comment. It was so funny. He was mad at me. He was saying like. He's like, I just want to watch a nice, relaxing video before I go to bed. And then the last part was too loud, and it woke up me and my wife. And I'm like, I didn't respond to it, but I was just thinking, like, okay, first of all, 4 seconds in, I'm already, like, doing something, like, kind of energetic and, like, loud. Was that not a cue that you shouldn't be watching this before bed? Second of all, why is it my fault that you decided to be rude to your wife and not wear headphones when she was trying to sleep? Like, I think what probably happened is he was watching a video. That part happened. It woke his wife up, and she was angry at him that he was just being, inconsiderate of her. And then he was like, "It's not my fault. It's his fault." And so he had to leave a comment about it. If I had to guess, that's probably what happened. It was just funny though. Hopefully that always make me laugh.
Generally I always feel like I get this vibe because people, it's like when they complain about audio, it's like, this audio, like blah blah blah, blah. And I'm like. 90% of people watch videos on their phone without headphones on or have crappy headphones. Like, the complaints... Like, I always get that, like, weird vibe.
No, I see what you're saying. I think it is important to be considerate of that kind of thing.
You can be considerate, but it's just sort of sometimes it's just like, at 13 minutes and 53 seconds, I saw that your audio dropped down to 4 decibels instead of 6. Can you be consistent?
Oh yeah, something like that. It's like,
I'm like, God damn it, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I that's actually a little trivia. The part of my video that takes the longest out of anything else, well, besides if I do something crazy like Kermit breaking for the wall, is actually the audio. Because I stutter so much, I'm not good at reading a script. I'm not good at talking in general. But
no, you've been like you're hard on yourself. You've been really good with this. I've had harder people, trust me.
Oh, thank you. But anyways, I stutter a lot, and like I have to. My audio is so just like cut and spliced together. If I showed you like the timeline in my Vegas clip, it's like there's an audio cut like pretty much every second. Like make sure something is like level. And that's why I always get confused when people get mad, especially in the tanks video, people like complaining about the yelling, because
Mhm.
again, the yelling was actually at a lower volume than the talking. I think people just hear they hear yelling and they just have this like knee jerk reaction to be like, "Ow, my ears!" like, but no, it is
Yeah.
something I'm very cautious about, and it's something that again, it takes. I more so than the visual aspect. I am really careful about just being audible and leveling everything.
No, I get what you mean. Uh, yeah. No, I understand what you mean, but I can't believe like people getting mad over that comment. That was a good part of the video. That was a great part of the video.
No, thank
And
you. I mean, to be fair though, it did like again, it is the only part of the video that peaked, and there might have been people who had their headphones really loud.
mm.
But I mean, there. I'm not gonna say it was an accident because I did it on purpose.
Yeah, it's
Because I
artistic
mean, again,
effect.
yeah. Because if someone breaks through your wall, it's gonna be pretty dang loud, and so that's what I was trying to convey. But looking back, I probably could have like lowered the volume a little bit.
Mm. Look, look. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. People should just be happy. Okay. They got camera coming through a wall.
No, I
All
mean,
right.
no, they're entitled to. If they
Oh,
don't like their
oh my
video, they're entitled.
man. Look, you're way too nice. Okay, for this stuff.
Thank you.
I'm a small creator, and people complain like for something like that. I have like little to no patience with that stuff. So I'm impressed that you're that patient
It's
with
just
that stuff.
it's something you learn over time. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. When I was a smaller creator, anytime anyone would complain about something minor, I took it really personally. I
Oh,
still kind of do.
I don't take it personally. I just go like, really? Like I just sit there and laugh. I'm just like, why?
Yeah, no, no, I'm pretty bad at that. Even still, like, I have a really bad tendency. I'm getting better at it. If someone like posts like a really like condescending comment,
Mm,
I like to respond in like a really facetious way, which I need
yeah,
to stop. It's super douchey of me, but, but like yeah, it's something you just learn over time, especially with again, I'm not a huge creator, but I have had a few videos
yeah,
break
but
a million, and so it's
yeah,
something you learn. You will get critiqued, and
yeah.
it's something you just gotta, as a YouTube content creator, it's something you just gotta learn to deal with. I will say, cancel culture and stuff like that is just ridiculous, and the things that people get upset about is just really just obscene sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, it is important to take a lot of what
I'll
people
take
say.
criticism. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like I take criticism. Like I think
Mm.
I can take it in a healthy way. Like I get like man, like I've gotten
Mm.
paragraphs. Like when you get like that person who comes in, like you get a paragraph, and it just basically
Oh
dismantles
yeah.
everything you've done, and you can read it, and nothing that they've said is wrong.
I never. I usually never read those.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're different for you, but usually when I get those, it's on my Pokemon videos.
Yeah.
And it's just this guy going
Oh
on
yeah.
and on and
Yeah,
on
yeah. You
about how
just
I'm like
yeah.
wrong about Pokemon,
No.
and like it's just a waste of time. They make me laugh. I honestly think I love those comments. I think they're funny
Yeah, I love it.
because when you see a comment, it's just like a whole like storybook.
Mm.
You know that guy's not happy. He left a long
Yeah.
comment because he's not happy with what he just
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but every time I see it, I just go. I just always sit there and just go, huh. I'm never like angry or upset. I'm always just like, ah, he's got a good point. Maybe I'll do that. And like I never get like this like vibe of just like, oh shit, I failed. But it's like this sort of like, oh my goodness, someone took the time out of their day to
I
like
know.
improve
Yeah.
my work. The one that do you get this vibe as well? This is something that I get. Is when you get like a lukewarm response, do you feel like that's worse than sort of like a strong negative? Like when you sort of get like that, okay.
No, because when it's lukewarm, well, it depends what you mean. What do you mean?
So like for example, like so when someone comes out and is just like, oh, I really don't like this, blah blah blah, and they like list it up, and like there's,
Mhm.
but then there's like, and so there's like a strong emotion reaction there. But then there's like sometimes have you had like those videos where it's like, you put it out, and it's sort of just like nothing happens with it. Like you don't get like many traction on it. The people who sort of comment are like sort of like, okay, thanks. Like
I
like
don't,
it's
I've never had a video like either of the videos I do get a pretty like angry responses or they're pretty positively received. I
okay.
can't think of a video where everyone was just like, yeah, I guess maybe my older stuff, but that was like I wasn't getting much comments back then anyway.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, because I've talked to other people sort of especially about this, and they sort of like they're fine. Like they can almost like deal with like the anger of it all. Like people get angry and stuff. It's like, hey, people are still interacting with me, but it's that sort of just like brush you off, like that was weird sort of thing. Like I don't really care. Sort of that like that weird sort of in between. But it's interesting that you sort of haven't found that.
Yeah, I've noticed there's 4 types of the comments. I mean, I'm not going to include joke comments. I guess that could make it 5.
Yeah.
But there's positive comments. There's the really like all caps. Someone be like "fuck you," and that's just like whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And then there's like the really long paragraph negative ones. The guy of someone just rambling, and then there's the one that's like, I guess what you were talking about, where like it's a bit lukewarm. But those ones I've never offended about those, because usually if someone's like, laying out pros and cons of your videos, of the video you made, it usually means they're a fan of your content.
Yeah.
And they actually care about it.
Yeah, it's just no, I've had people in the past, yeah. Like even like with people who go live streams or stuff like that. I think live streams are probably more like prevalent with these people, whether it's just sort of just like everyone just sort of goes, "What?"
Yeah. I've never streamed before, so
has that
I have no experience.
Has that been an interest, especially like with creating your videos, like even with like, because I know like people who do like editing and animation stuff have like.
Oh, absolutely! I have so many requests. People were like, "Oh, you should draw and stream." I'm like, I am not a good enough artist to draw and stream, but I've thought about like streaming like games with friends, stuff like that. But I just, in the current position I'm in right now, I just don't have the space and the internet for it. Especially, I mean, it's kept keeping up this call pretty well.
Yeah, no,
but my internet has a tendency to drop out a lot, and so I'm actually gonna be moving here pretty soon. Not to get too much of my personal life, but I'm gonna be moving into a new house in a few months from now. And so when that happens, I think I might start streaming. But as far as like where I am now, it's not plausible, because even as it is, like I don't know if there's like a lot of echo, but where my computer is, it's hard floor. My mic is never really plugged in. It's not that good of a mic anyway. And so I just don't have a setup for streaming.
No, I understand.
But it's definitely something I've been looking into to do in the future.
Are you gonna pop out the old iToy camera for it with the streaming?
I'll probably get an actual camera.
I don't know. I feel like
also for anyone curious why this is just an audio call, it's because I don't actually have a USB camera, which might seem strange, but it's the truth. I don't have a USB camera besides my PS2 iToy.
That's a video you should do. iToy.
I don't actually have any iToy games. I bought it for my PS3 back when I used to play Little Big Planet.
Oh, interesting.
Also, that little off topic. I don't think I would have a channel called SilokHawk was it not for Little Big Planet.
You know what?
I don't even know if I'd be uploading videos.
For Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is your influence.
It really was. It's such a... Oh my god, that is such a good creative outlet. It's not really talked about or played anymore. That game is lit.
Yeah,
and I've met so many great people through that game.
I've heard a lot of good things about that game. I never had PlayStations or anything like that when I was younger, so I never got into that sort of thing.
I will say this: Mario Maker is a great game, but the reason I can never get into it is because of Little Big Planet.
I see. Yeah.
Because the stuff you could do in Little Big Planet, like, it's crazy. It doesn't even compare. Like by the time the second one came out, people were making first-person shooters. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And it was cool because you invite your friends to your lobby, and then you'd all like pick the level together, and you'd all play together online. It was really cool.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, I'm just rambling, but yeah, a huge influence for my channel, even though I don't really talk about the game, was Little Big Planet.
Interesting. That's an interesting point. And I guess sort of, I think the last thing we can sort of touch on is sort of, what do you think would be your ultimate future goals with your sort of online sort of YouTube sort of career?
To just continue my YouTube as a career, I guess. I don't know. It's just strange because YouTube was never at any point in my life was I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be a video content creator. That never was a focus of mine until it just happened. I always wanted to be like an animator or a programmer, and that's stuff I did like on the side, but it's my videos that ended up catching on. And so I'm not complaining though. I love making content. And if I could turn it into a career, like a stable career, then that's something I definitely want to aim for. And if I do get, you know, if I am secure enough on YouTube, maybe a year or two from now, then I definitely want to focus more on like programming or animating. But for now, I guess the goal is just focus all my time on YouTube since that's what I enjoy doing, and it seems like a lot of people really enjoy watching my content.
Yeah. Actually, the last thing I want to touch on, even just sort of something said there as well. Because you sort of talked about having that sort of maybe that programming or animating side to it.
Mhm.
Do you have a worry that like have you wanted to like introduce sort of new elements to your channel, but because of like your sort of like your general current sort of idea and theme for your channel, that you sort of get worried about introducing new stuff to it? Or
I'm
like,
actually worried about the opposite. I'm worried that my channel will affect the stuff I do outside of my channel. Because I've always wanted to make a game. That's like something I definitely want to do before I die. And I've programmed a lot of things in the past, but I definitely want to program a game and have it be sold on Steam or something at some point in my life.
yeah, wow.
But I'm super worried that when that happens, a lot of people that are like detractors of mine don't like my content. That maybe they also review stuff. Who knows? But they'll see this game. They'll see my name attached to it, and they'll immediately go into with like a negative connotation, despite whether or not they actually like it or not. And I've always been really worried about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah, that worried about that trying to connect like having yourself connected to like other properties other than your YouTube
yeah,
stuff.
because if I make
Yeah.
a game or animation, whatever it be, I want people to judge it on the merits of a game. And if it needs critiquing, then I want people to critique it. But I don't want people to go into it wanting to hate it because they happen to not like my content. And something tells me it's going to happen, whether I like it or not. But
That's
I hope I can maybe stray away from that because I'm super passionate about game design. And if I did make a game, then I would be extremely passionate about like what people are saying about it and how I can make it into, the best type of game it could be. And if people are just going to hate it because they hate me, then that's upsetting.
no, I get what you mean. I'm. It's interesting. I'm very like your perspective, especially on this, is quite interesting because I know like other creators and stuff like that. Oh, like if I like Nate is lame is like very much like this. He's just like with my YouTube, like once I get my YouTube and my YouTube's growing, I can go on and like all my people can come over and like really enjoy my music and stuff like that. And he's sort of taking like a slightly different approach there. You're sort of like worried about that sort of connection, about people coming to your other stuff and sort of holding you to a higher standard because of that.
Yeah, well, it's the same kind of perspective I have with just my YouTube in general. I had a roommate during college, like my college years. He hated my YouTube content. Like he just thought he just thought it was bad. But me and him we were good friends then, and we're good friends now. And I really respected that about him, that he like was able to separate that. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't really like his content, but I like him as a person. And that's, again, I respect that, and I hope people do that with my stuff. Because if people don't like my content, that's fine. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But if I make a game, I don't want people to, be like, oh well, but fuck this guy because this Pokemon video he made or whatever it may be.
Yeah. No, that's quite. No, very interesting with it. But I doubt that you have that many people out there that really like
Oh, you'd be surprised.
like ratio like if we ratioed it, it's like a vocal minority, but like,
Yeah, but I'm not going to give out names, but I do know other big reviewers that do content similar to me. I know for a fact they know about me, and that's a lot of, at some points in time, they follow me on Twitter and then they unfollowed me for whatever reason. But I know they all know about me, and so if I did make a game and it were to be popular enough that would like warrant, them to like do a review of it on it, I'm just worried that like they'll be like, oh, do I hate this guy? Just screw his game. Yeah, maybe it won't happen. As far as like the general public, the most part, I have a greater percentage of people who enjoy my stuff. But I do know for a fact that there are a lot of content creators that do similar stuff to what I do that are bigger than me that don't like my stuff. And I hope it doesn't. Yeah, and I hope it doesn't carry over.
I think maybe there's like a even with like your friend who like he said like I don't like your content. Like I have a friend and he helps me sometimes with doing like if I go live for an interview and I have to like switch between cameras and stuff like that. And I said like, oh, do you actually like watch any of my videos? And he just looks at me and goes, no, it's because of you. And I go, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I don't have many people in real life or many friends in real life that like watch my stuff. I don't really talk about my YouTube that much, but yeah, there's actually the few times where I've had someone, because I've had so many jobs, and I've had like people I've like mentioned it on the side because it got brought up, and then I'll like they'll come back next day, and they'll be like, oh hey, I was watching your videos. My like immediate reaction is like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just don't want people to like judge me based on my videos.
No, I understand. I think you take I really enjoy this conversation because you do take like a very like different perspective to like a lot of different creators I've talked to, especially sort of like this. You're very very humble with your channel and how you sort of see yourself.
Oh, thank you.
In the future, and it's like I think it's really interesting having this conversation, having that sort of different perspective. But I guess we're sort of running low on time now. But thank you very much.
God, it's been an hour.
Yeah,
I didn't realize what time it was.
Yeah, no, it's been about an hour. So, well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Is it Jordan? I'm just gonna make sure that's.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan. Well, thank you, Jordan, for joining me today. And I guess for people who sort of don't know who you are, which come on, guys, like you should know who he is. Come on, he did the tanks video. Where can they find you, and and how can they sort of support you?
YouTube.com/SilokHawk, SilokHawk.
Awesome. And like, do you have any sort of like Patreon, Discord, or anything like that, or?
Yeah, I have Patreon, Twitter, Facebook. If you want to throw me a buck on Patreon, I'd be very humble of that. I have a few little perks if you are a Patreon supporter, but don't feel pressured. Only do it if you want to. Otherwise, you just watching my videos is all the support I need. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you very much. And for people who are interested and sort of want to know further about Red Suit interviews, check out links down below. We've got Discord, my Twitter, all of that, Instagram, also newly set up Patreon. So if you want to also help another fellow creator out, head over and yeah, that'll be really good. But anyway, thank you very much, Jordan. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a great conversation, and don't be worried about yourself talking. Like you're really good with it all. So thank you very much, and everyone, thank you very much for watching. And I hope you check the next time.